Here we go.
No Nation. Welcome into another episode of the Renegade Rundown. I've got my good friend with me, Deshawn Adams, aka at Deshawn Adams 18. You can find him on X, as well as myself at Renegade Report One. You can find me on X. Also, my beautiful co-host at Jen Santi 1890 had an important meeting this afternoon. She may be able to jump in here and meet us in the second half of the show. Maybe not, but we wish her well with her meeting. And we got a pretty exciting day. It's a pretty exciting show lined up for you guys, man. Just all kind of stuff kind of happening around Florida State. You've got recruiting, of course, always going on this time of year. You've got the College World Series. Florida State takes down UNC to advance to the Final Four of the College World Series after basically getting robbed. So in my book, they're 3-0 in the College World Series, and now we've got a rematch set up with the Volunteers tomorrow. So looking forward to that. We also got motion dismissed. The motion dismissed that the ACC filed in Leon County Court was dismissed, denied today. Judge Cooper, on all three of the major counts, denied the ACC's motion to dismiss. Really, we just heard about jurisdiction. That was the main thing, all we heard there. But not to get the cart in front of the horse, we just want to let you know everything that's on the agenda. We've also got Elite 11 that's going on. We've got decommitments happening, all kind of recruiting stuff. But back to square one, College World Series. What a game. Man, what do you think of Florida State taking down UNC today, brother?
Man, excited. As I watched the game, I did tweet all goals, everything, Sunday goals once again, do it again. And it seems like these last few games, it's been a different player. Today it was Jackson West, a combination of Jackson West and Williams. Seeing them, West batting at his position, like ninth batter, to be able to, he pretty much carried the team's offense today. And it was just exciting. It's like on the way home listening to the game, it's like I had a feeling when he came up for that bat and they were talking about his 3 hits that he was getting ready to hit that tater out, and he did, man. You're on mute.
My bad, man. Rookie mistake. But yeah, 4 for 4 in the 9-hole. Really pretty impressive for Jackson West. Just went off, and he was a huge part of the game. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he had to have a ton of RBIs. Being in the 9th bat to go 4 for 4 and just get on base. I mean, every time the top of your order and your best hitters come, they've got a dude on base ready to score. And then to hit a jack just to get followed by Max Williams, like the back-to-back jacks. Oh, man, I was going nuts when that happened.
Yeah, you get that from the bottom of the order and the top of the order. And I got the stats for you. He was 4 for 5, one run, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. Williams was 3 for 5, a run, 2 RBIs and a home run. And they pretty much powered the team today. And you get that with some timely pitching from Haltz and some solid pitching from Armstrong to start the game. It was pretty good to, cool to watch, just to see that nostalgia of where we're at, and it's particularly wearing those goals once again, man. 3-6.
Our guy, Big Game James Coleman, aka Socia Stout, says he's wearing my gold jersey. He changed his profile picture for the Sunday goals, man. It's been an omen. We've just been absolutely crushing in those. But yeah, what a game. What a freaking game.
What a game, man.
It's freaking hot as hell in Florida, if y'all don't know. I got so hot getting all set up and ready for the show. And now I'm dumping buckets. But as James is hanging out for the show, he's at his son's football practice, getting it done. James is the man. He gets around. He does so much for the community. If you haven't already donated to the Backpack Drive, go check him out on Twitter. Maybe I can find the link and throw it in the description for the MFTK Backpack Drive. He hits several cities. I don't even want to get it wrong, but I know he does Jacksonville, Tallahassee. I believe he's added Atlanta. And maybe one more city, if I'm not mistaken. So 4,000 backpacks, something like that. I think he did last year. That may be the goal this year. So y'all definitely get over there and donate to that. After taking down UNC today, this makes exactly 5 days. So basically the matchup with Tennessee, it sets up for Jamie Arnold to have a showdown What do you think? You think you can get it done? You think we got a shot at back-to-back wins and to come out of that losers bracket?
I mean, it's possible. I think it may have to be a team pitching effort here. You may see Arnold, but you may also see some other arms early on too to kind of just get the job done. As long as the bats stay hot, I will add that Tibbs was he had a hit today also, responsible for 2 runs. So the more he can continue to be the leader that he is, and then Cam Smith also, who struggled a little bit today hitting, but who has been hot, within the last month or so. Get those bats to contribute. Your bigger name bats in the heart of the order. If they can contribute, I think it'll be all right because we're one of the only teams that can actually score with Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think Florida State, it is what it is. They got the extra runs. It didn't happen. But you take away that offensive explosion that Tennessee had after they were pretty much done. Florida State has been the best hitting team of anybody in the College World Series, hands down, in my opinion. Like we're one of the only teams with multiple 4 or 5 point, game victories. I don't think anybody has that but us, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we were trying to get our guy Johnny Mack to join us, but I guess he's on the road. We had a little bit of a miscommunication, but if we can get him on here, we will. Trying to let him know what the deal is.
All right.
All righty. Yeah, you can just if there's anything, go right ahead with it. What's on your mind, my friend?
Nothing really. Just thinking about the if we're staying here in the baseball season before we transition on, just the phenomenal play that we've seen up to date, and
going from 23 to
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 the
this
number that we're at, considering what we've been the last few years. It's mirroring the football program, a return to the national spotlight, and a place where we're comfortable as a fan base and as the university being in this particular sport, is being on the talk of the town, basically.
Yeah, Nick Snyder points out a good point. He says, I'm certain Tennessee is not happy they have to face us again. Looking at it, watching the different games, it really does seem like we're the only threat to Tennessee. We're the only threat to Tennessee all along. So, yeah, I bet they were definitely hoping Florida State would lose to North Carolina, because if you're going to line it up, if North Carolina was going to have a chance to win, if anybody was going to have a chance to beat Florida State, it was going to be a bullpen game. And they were be able to go out there and win a bullpen game.
Yeah.
In do or die situation in the losers bracket that way. To win by 5, you score 9. It was a hell of a statement, in my opinion. So, yeah, you get Jamie Arnold to come around. You've got pretty much everybody, all the relievers. I don't know if Dorsey would be ready for that 4th game, if it's necessary or not. We'll have to see on that, because I think that would be 4 or 5 days. Lot Boy says Holtz. Yeah, we can talk about Holtz because, wow. After giving all that up, I think we've talked about this in the production meeting and just thought we had already talked about it on the show. But yeah, Holtz, if you remember, against Tennessee, he walks the 8-hole. And that sets everything up to get the number 1 batter, Christian Moore, back up to the plate. That's the at bat. He gets on base, yada, yada. The rest is history. But bam, he walks the 8-hole. And I tweeted, I was like, oh no, he walked the 8-hole again. It plays out almost same exact way, except they get their number 1 batter. They get their top batter up there. I forget his name. The best batter for North Carolina, but he struck him out.
Honeycutt.
He absolutely racked him. That's right.
Honeycutt.
He racked him, and that was beautiful to see that way that thing ended on a strikeout. He throws it down the third base line, and bam, you couldn't be couldn't be a much better way to end a game like that. But Mike Bartz comes through with a $2 super chat. We really appreciate you, bro. He says, I heard most football games are sold out though. I don't know about most, but I did for sure see that the Clemson home game and what was the other
Florida.
big Florida. Clemson and Florida are both sold out, unfortunately. Thoughts. Now, I don't know, because these two games was going to sell out regardless. I guess it could be a bit shocking that they've sold out this early. Angelo says we've already sold 4, so that's over half of the home games, or at least half. Not sure how many we have this year, if it's 7 or 8, right offhand. But guys, we knew that seating is tough. You're down 20,000 seats. So, I mean, you try to think when Florida State's competitive, you're not going to have many times when there's not 50,000 or 55,000 or whatever our max is now.
Yes.
And I don't want people to be in too much of fear, because like there will be opportunities on the secondary market. I don't know. Hopefully the prices don't get jacked up too crazy high. We're going to see. We're going to see how bad it is. I don't want to sit here and tell our fans, don't worry about the prices. It's going to be perfect. And then it turns out I'm wrong and it's an absolute nightmare. The only solace I would just say is, guys, it's 1 year.
Yeah.
It's 1 year.
Just
And
1
then
year.
we're going to be back up to 71, 72,000, whatever it is. And it'll be like, it'll be no problem.
It's 7 home games. And then just to follow up on what you were saying, we're not putting lipstick on a pig here. We're we're getting a BBL for Doak. So so let's basically let's bear with it this year and then enjoy the following season. Because who knows, we may be in a totally different conference by then and experiencing something totally different that we wouldn't have imagined we would have. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no doubt. And one note there, I believe it's $308 million of the bonds that Florida State sold or financed, or however they work that out, in order to pay for the improvements to Doak Campbell Stadium. Those have been cleared or approved, or whatever the case may be. So bam, that $308 million just came through for that. So that is a big, big deal. And that leaves the second part of that. I believe it's another 200 something odd million left in that Project Osceola runway they have there, that ends with the medical research center and all kinds of stuff. So really, really, really cool stuff. Doesn't look like our buddy Johnny's gonna join us, but if he does, we will definitely throw him up there. But we can move forward to the ACC lawsuit. Boy, that was a little bit different than the rest of the court dates, the rest of the kind of hearing situations that we've had.
Yeah.
But boy, that thing went on for 8 hours, whatever it was. What were your impressions on the day, and how confident are you in Florida State's position here going forward?
To be honest, to give you the honest truth, I was wondering how long and why it was taking so long to make a decision, especially with a lot of arguments we had already heard in prior arraignments or whatever you want to call them with the courtroom. But my interpretation in the long run is that we're going to get out. I personally believe there is negotiations going on. But the argument with the case is just talking money up, talking money down. That's basically what I see it as.
Yeah. For folks that don't know, I know most of our people in here are diehards this time of year. We really appreciate everybody. Everybody, if you're on YouTube, can you please hit that like and subscribe? We appreciate that. But for those that don't know, as far as the court case, exactly how we got here, when we were initially going through, Florida State filed their first filing, Clemson files theirs. Their reaction to it, as the defendant here in the state of Florida, their initial motion to dismiss was granted based on jurisdiction. Florida State had not proven, without a reasonable doubt or whatever, up to the level of the standard of the court, Judge Cooper's court, that the long arm of the law should reach to the North Carolina and bring ACC down here, basically. Give us a right to apply Florida State's, or the state of Florida's set of laws, the sunshine laws, all these things to this case in the state of Florida. Why do we have to have this case go forward, even though there's already a case in North Carolina? It was dismissed. It was granted, but not with prejudice, and that's a big difference. Unlike the damages, the fiduciary duty that was thrown out without prejudice in North Carolina, no, not with prejudice. So Florida State was able to write an amended filing. They were given, I believe it was 10 days or 7 days. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter. They filed it. The ACC had 20 days after that to do their response. They got that filed, and here we were. It wasn't technically a hearing, but they had, they had this meeting of the three parties in the courtroom, and the judge, he decided this go round that Florida State did provide plenty of precedents. They did meet that standard of the courtroom, to show the long arm of the law should be able to reach over there. And they used 2 or 3 different case laws to show, it was extremely verbose. I saw one of the comments. If I'm being 100% honest, it seemed like the judge knew what he was going to do just right off the bat, and he spent 8 hours justifying it.
Yeah.
And so I see what he's doing, and this is just the opinion of a non-law person. We don't have a lawyer on here tonight or anything, but it seems like almost he was apologizing for denying the motion to dismiss. Like he really, really was jumping around all over the place with that.
Yeah.
But I'll let you respond to that. And it looks like Johnny Mac did join us, so we'll throw him up here and get his opinion on the baseball game a little bit here in a minute.
Okay. The only thing I'll touch on is something that I mentioned in our production meeting. I found it interesting that the argument that the ACC had about the doing business in the state of Florida. And in fact, when they name dropped Fanatics as one of the aspects, and also the home games of FSU and Miami being actual transactional business that the ACC is doing in the state, it kind of destroyed the argument there. So that was a good point to prove.
Yeah, without a doubt. As we welcome our friend Johnny Mac. He had trouble with his camera, and he's driving home. But still, if you don't know who he is, this guy is one of the ringleaders of the Section B animals there, always at all the FSU home games. He was out there for the first, I don't know how long, a week or 2 at Omaha, for all the games. He's got a lot of camera time out here. I'll let you describe your appearance to your fans out there, man. You're pretty famous on ESPN and stuff. But how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, just first of all, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Beautiful.
I thought I had the camera turned on, but obviously I don't. So anyway, man, so I was out in Omaha for the first 2 games. This is my third trip out there. And man, the atmosphere is electric. The NOLES fans out there are fired up. The team is a force to be reckoned with. We proved it again tonight. We proved it every game we played, how many runs we're putting up on the board. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way Friday night, but we're still here. We're still fighting, and we're here to show everybody what's up.
Awesome.
Man, how, because you were there all last year for the 23 games. Did you see this coming? Because, I was excited, don't get me wrong, but I've really been focused on football. We didn't cover baseball that much, but, you get to the playoffs and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to watch these games. And it didn't take long for me to be just absolutely fall in love with this team. And it looks like they're the best hitting team in the tournament, in my opinion. I think Tennessee may have the best hitter in Christian Moore, but as far as the overall team, nobody's hit as good as Florida State.
Man, I can tell you, after last season, which we all know was a disappointing season for Florida State standards, at the beginning of the season, if you'd have went to Vegas and put the money down on getting Florida State to the World Series, you'd have probably got good odds. Did we think we would have a better season? Yes. Would you have said top 8 seed going to the World Series? If anybody says yes, I probably wouldn't believe them. However, Tennessee has a great hitter and more, but you know what? We got great hitters from top to bottom, and the guys proved it tonight at the bottom of the order. They're coming through in big time. They're coming through in the clutch. They're getting RBIs with men around base, and they're fighting at bats. I mean, Holtz came through in a big way tonight. Look what Armstrong did. He re-injured his rib, and you could hear him grunting on the mound. He was in pain, and he fought through 4 1/3 and gave everybody what we wanted.
Yes.
Facts. You spoke about the bottom of the lineup. Was that Jackson West's 3rd home run all year? And a park with the wind blowing in, it wasn't really suited for homers today. Wow. Did you? I can't believe I didn't see a game like that. He's had some timely hitting, but that's how it started out in the beginning. He was hitting them balls in the gap, having great at bats. But dude starts stroking for power in the 9-hole. It's beautiful, man. I hope we go out there and crush Tennessee by 10 points. Like, I hope Jamie Arnold comes out there and I don't think we've seen one of his signature ball games here in the postseason yet, really, have we? Like he's won some games, but let him come out here and hold them to 2 or something tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think that he's had a signature game, but what he's done is keep us in the game every time he's been on the mound. And you know what? They prepare for him. You know, they don't prepare for guys like Dorsey and Armstrong. Their goal is to beat Jamie Arnold because they know he's our ace. So I don't think they prepare for the guys as much coming in behind him. And these guys have proven what they can do. But everybody knows what's going to happen when Jamie Arnold's on.
Yes, sir. If he can get that slider working down in the zone, I mean, that just takes so many things away. You don't have those big home run balls. You get a lot of ground balls, even from great hitters. And when he's on, I mean, I heard somebody say his slider is better at his age than Randy Johnson's was or something. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's like pretty high praise that people even talking about stuff like that. So let's hope he's on and absolutely kills it. Do you think Dorsey will be ready if they make it to Game 4?
I got to tell you right now, man, I think tomorrow is really going to be up in the air. I mean, would I like to see Arnold pitch tomorrow? I would. But, I mean, it's a lot to ask from a guy who just pitched on Friday. But you know what? When you get to this time of year, as you know, if you've ever played sports, then you always want to play. It doesn't matter if you pitch. Well, I mean, pitching is a little bit different than playing basketball or football. But everybody wants to be on the field competing. And I think these guys are going to be pumped up. It's going to be one of those things. The coach is probably going to have to save some guys from themselves because everybody tomorrow is going to say, Coach, I'm ready. I'm in. Put me in. I'm ready to do this.
I got a question for you. Going towards the end of the game, and it was 7-5. Explain the atmosphere just before West, and then Williams followed up with those home runs, because I know watching it was an experience, but being there, how was it when that happened?
So I got to tell you right now. So I'm back in Tallahassee. So I watched the game at my buddy's house, and you know there's 7 or 8 of us there, and obviously you know it's a tight game. I mean, you know North Carolina is the number 4 team in the country for a reason. They got a great baseball team, but those 2 guys coming through for us with back-to-back home runs. At that point, I feel as much as North Carolina got momentum from when they came back and made it 7-5, I feel like that took the wind out of their sail because, you know, their number 1 hitter, their home run hitter came up, and Holt struck him out on one of the most beautiful breaking balls you've probably ever seen in your life. And that right there just fired everybody up. I mean, after that pitch right there was, you know, that's the money pitch. You got to strike him out. You got to get him out of there with a man on base. And that's exactly what they did.
Yes. Awesome.
If you have a follow-up, man, the stage is yours. You got any more questions for my guy, Johnny Mac?
Seeing them, how did you feel seeing them being able to get on top of one of North Carolina's aces and Pence, and you know they really rattled him early? What's your opinion on how they were able to really just the bats just stay hot, and it seems like it's a different guy throughout this tournament so far? How did you feel when you just to see them be able to do that? Because I was a little nervous going in the game, knowing that North Carolina's pitching is solid and they do have good hitters, but to see the team respond the way they did and get on top of that pitcher and really rattle him early, what is your opinion on how they handled that? Oh, their composure is the word I'm trying to find.
That's fine. So, you know, early in the game, I mean, if you watch the whole game, we left a lot of men on base. That game should really not even been as close as it was.
Yeah.
But what we did, we kept the pressure on them the whole game, and I think it took a toll on their pitching. I don't think their pitching got comfortable enough to really pitch like they wanted to because they couldn't make a mistake. I mean, in the 5th inning, we were just getting base hit after base hit after base hit, putting guys on base. And, man, we really should have blown that game open.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, you win. That's all that matters. But for that game to be as close as it was, I mean, we scored the 4 runs in the 5th, and they came back and scored 4 runs. But then they didn't score again after that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But you're right. We got through their, you know, they're well known for their bullpen. And they went to them early, which I think was good for us because then we got on them. And they, you know, once their guys are done, they're not coming back in. So I think that was a key factor, was getting to those big bullpen arms early and getting them out of the game early.
Yeah, I agree.
And North Carolina, man, I mean, they gave up 2 in the first game. They gave up 6 to Tennessee. So over and over again, you see Florida State play teams and put up the biggest number that anybody's put up. Like just, oh, they're doing this. They're pictures of that. And Florida State plays them and is like, oh, yeah, watch this. Ting, ting. So hopefully it keeps going.
And what, like I say, the key is, man, if you our lineup, you know, if the guys we expect to produce aren't producing, the bottom of the lineup says, you know what, I got you. And then all of a sudden, the big bats come through. So who are you going to pitch to? You're not going to pitch around any of these guys now because they're all producing right now.
Without a doubt. And one thing about what makes a great coach, and I've said this about Mike Norvell, and it's going to be really interesting when you look at Florida State football, our main topic usually here on this channel. This year, we don't have a LSU out of the gate. We get a kind of soft launch with Georgia Tech and Boston College and Memphis early on. So you're really going to get to see this team grow. But regardless, every year, Mike Norvell's teams come together and get better and better as the year goes on. That's a sign of a good coach. And it's the same thing with Link Jarrett. Like this ain't the same team that you saw in March and April and like at the beginning of the month, even like they just getting better and better. It seems like the Florida State we're seeing in the College World Series is absolutely the best one there's been all year. And if we can kind of continue that, you know, with the bats and Arnold come out with a gem, it's a perfect recipe to be the 5th team ever come out of a loser's bracket and win the whole thing. How awesome would that be to be the first one after 24 visits? Would be pretty insane.
Oh, man, it would be, you know, outside of the 93 football national championship, it's going to be the sweetest day in Florida State history.
Definitely. Most definitely.
Well, before we move on to, you know, different subjects and stuff, do you have just like what was the coolest moment? Maybe somebody you met or a conversation you heard, something like that in the kind of visitors section B over there at the College World Series.
You know what? Just the cool thing about being out in Omaha is that, you know, only so many of the Section B crowd can make it up there because it's a difficult trip to get to. You got people with kids, people have jobs. It's not that affordable or easy to get out there. But once you get out to Omaha, the parents, the fans that are up there, they become Section B. And they all buy into it. And one of the coolest things is after the games, I mean, you listen to the games on TV, you hear Florida State the whole game. You only hear other teams when there's 2 strikes and there's 2 outs. You hear Florida State the whole game cheering. You can hear them the whole time. But the cool thing is after the game, fans from other teams that aren't even playing there said, man, you guys never sit down. Like, I'm impressed by you. I don't even know how you guys do it. I'm like, well, we train all season for it.
Facts. There's no other fan base. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying facts. I was agreeing. That's it. That was awesome.
Kev says, where's the watch party in Pensacola? And then Ed Lemick says, at my house. Yeah, nobody show up at my house. But no, I just, you know, I'm pretty at the compound out here working on the podcast and watching it on the big screen there out in the garage. But out at Rosie O'Grady's, I think Seville Quarter, the Pensacola Booster Club, that's where they meet up. They do have a lot of watch parties and stuff. So if you are in Pensacola, Seville Quarter, I think, is where they do their meetups. I'm having a bit of a brain fart on the guy. He's on Twitter, the guy who is the leader of the Pensacola Booster Club. So if that name comes to me, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, shout out to all the Pensacola Noles in the house. I'm actually over here in East Milton, kind of between Milton and Navarre, is more my neck of the woods. But anyway. Have you been following the court proceedings at all or anything like that, Johnny?
What's that?
Have you been following this court drama here with the ACC and FSU at all?
I've been trying to keep up with it, and obviously being located here in Tallahassee, like today, we knew there was something going on because the deli I work out downtown, we're right around the corner from the courthouse, and everybody frequents our deli. And I saw all the sports writers in there today, so I knew something was going on. I haven't been following enough, but I feel like things are kind of headed our way as far as being, you know, getting things done in Tallahassee. I don't have any inside info, just in case you're wondering. But I just talking to people that come in there and people that have been going to the case. I feel like things are kind of leaning our way here in Tallahassee to maybe get the trial or at least part of the trial and things done in Tallahassee.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So,
The last part.
Working here in Tallahassee and especially working downtown, I get a lot of people that have been to all the proceedings going on at the courthouse.
Right.
And just chit chat with people who are innocent bystanders going to the court. It does seem to lean things are leaning our way in Tallahassee for things to happen here more than not.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, for sure.
As far as like the hearings going on here, and
is good.
Right, I think the momentum for things going on in Tallahassee is getting a lot better.
Jason Purdue says, "What's up, Johnny Mac? We appreciate you, Jason, for joining.
Hey, what's up, Jason?"
So basically, what happened today, and I kind of butchered it earlier, but I'll say it here in better words. So today in the court, the judge denied ACC's motion to dismiss on jurisdictional grounds, which is the part I tried to explain to you guys. That's the part that the motion to dismiss he granted the first go around. But after that, after spending 8-9 hours on that and getting that done with, he also ruled from the bench. He denied the ACC's motion to dismiss the FSU's claim that the $140 million exit fee is unenforceable. So that will be part of the trial moving forward. That's up for discovery and everything like that. So that is very big. It's not tiny. There just wasn't a ton of time spent on it. And the third one, the ACC claimed that, or FSU claimed that ACC breached the Constitution and bylaws to be able to go sue us first and do the different things they did, to move forward with these unilateral decisions and things like that. So boom, big deal to get all three of those going forward. So now we just see, when we can get to discovery and things like that. But he also, one of the things he really pushed is mediation. He was basically begging from the bench for these guys to get into mediation as Gary Davis drops $1.99.
Oh, that's my boy Gary Davis. I was watching the house game at his house today.
Okay, well, bam, we appreciate you joining us, Gary. Next time, throw a shout out or a message or a question. You were saying you work at a deli. If you want to give a shout out to your place, man,
I gotta give a shout out to Metro Deli. We're 22 years going strong in downtown Tallahassee. And if you want the best deli in town, you got to come to Metro Deli, son.
Awesome.
Okay,
awesome.
Hell yeah. I gotta make sure I hit that next time in Tallahassee. I don't know, maybe we could work something out.
Yeah.
Oh, we can definitely work it out. Just come on in, baby.
most definitely.
Absolutely. Well,
all right, guys. Hey, listen, I'm getting back to the house. I got some things I got to take care of. I've been gone all day. And I promise next time I'll have the camera problem fixed. I thought I had it done today because I really want to be on the show with you guys. I appreciate y'all having me on. I love talking about Florida State. I love talking about Florida State baseball. I love talking about the animals of Section B. Man, we're such a passionate fan group. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you reached out to me to get me on here because it really means a lot.
Well, heck yeah, man. We really appreciate it. And shout out to Melissa or Lisa on Facebook as she is, but she's picking on me all the time. I was actually got your number from her and got this set up. So we got to meet you at the spring game the past 2 years. We'll definitely have you on again. Hopefully we can have you on for 10-15 minutes and we can talk about dominating Tennessee later in the week.
No doubt. And I'm going to do everything tomorrow I can for somebody that's technologically inclined to fix my phone for me. So I get the damn camera working.
Just let me know, man. Just get up with me and we'll get it fixed. Gary Davis, he's done advertised for the watch party with you and him at his house tomorrow for the Tally folks. So there you go. If you're in Tallahassee and you want somewhere to watch that Tennessee game, there you got it with Gary Davis and Johnny Mac. And we'll holler at you next time, brother.
All right, man. Hey, thank y'all so much for having me on, and we'll set this up again, especially after we beat Tennessee tomorrow.
Damn
Better
right.
believe it. Go Noles.
All right, guys. Go Noles. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Have a great day. Right. Oh, Canada. Right. Oh, Canada. No, we won't do it, but we appreciate Johnny Mac for coming through. That was fun. But yeah, super, super big. Was there anything as far as those? I know we talked a lot about the personal jurisdiction, but as far as the other two, was there anything you wanted to touch on that before we open up the lines for questions and move into other stuff?
No, we pretty much touched on it, man. We have touched on everything we could touch on with the court case today.
Facts. Yeah. So it's just like as happy as you want to be. It's going forward, but you still gotta wait. We got to find out when that court date is. When's that next court date going to be? And that's going to take a lot of time. And then, it's just hard to see any kind of future with the court cases beyond a settlement happening. So we can only hope that they take them up on the mediations. As far as outside of that, just kind of the rumor mill perception and things like that. You got Josh Pate posting a cup of water with droplets of water and basically saying the FSU or the ACC is going to do the opposite of expand. Rumor swirling this and that. June 30th, that's the date. That's the final date when you could possibly have a 7-8 teams leave and the whole ACC crumbles and we're done. We have all this, the case has become mute. It doesn't matter. Everybody's out scot-free. For a second there, I was thinking no chance, like everything, it's going too fast. We're coming up on the date. But we just had this hearing. Florida State has a board of trustees meeting Thursday. There's all these rumors behind the scenes that ESPN's freaking out and they're trying to make a deal. What the hell? What are you thinking? Do you think there's a chance it could really bust out? Do you think Miami would drop a set? Do you think these other teams outside of just Florida State, Clemson, and possibly at UNC could maybe make a run at a real coup d'etat? Or do you think it's all bullshit and it's just, it's going to go on business as usual?
I think it's both. And what I mean by that is I say that I think that all the universities are going to act in their best interests. We've already seen some, think about it going back to the end of last year, how North Carolina, or even the beginning of 2023, how North Carolina was a advocate against, but you find out later, a year later, that they didn't even vote to sue. So, and then you look at Miami's situation, and I think a lot of it is it's a little bit of a Trojan horse and a coy. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying fact. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. But I do believe that every university is going to act on their best interests. And if that means disbanding the conference in order to survive, then I believe that will happen. But no one is going to be willing to be the first one on that chopping block. FSU is just leading the way.
Facts, without a doubt. And I'm so ready to be done with it. I'm so ready to be in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And just look at this baseball tournament. FSU just chopping off ACC teams, SEC teams, whatever it takes. And here they are, the team for a Big Four sport. They're the one in the Final Four. But we've got a caller here. You are live on the Renegade Rundown with George and Deshawn. What can we do for you?
Hey, this is Lisa.
What's up, Lisa?
How you doing,
I'm
Lisa?
glad you got him on.
Yes, it worked on. He got on just in time. How are you doing, girl?
I'm good. Celebrating with a margarita.
That's right. Well, where you at?
Now I'm home.
I hear you. Well, that's the safest place.
I got my steps in today at work, pacing, but hey, it worked.
Well, did you have a question or a shout out for somebody while we got you right here on the line?
I'm just this is what FSU friends NOLES do. I'm glad you got Johnny. Anybody else I can help you with? I got you now that I'm a cartoon.
Yeah, after the spring game, she was like, she gave me a little bit of shit. She's like, I see you hooking everybody else to cartoons. Well, what about your friend Melissa? I was like, I got you. I mean, I feed y'all, I give you drinks. What more do you want? Yeah. If you don't know who this is, if you've ever been to the Den Media Group, Spear Addicts, Dope Talk, tailgate that they have at the spring game and all the home games and even some away games. She's the person running around taking care of everything. She gets all of our VIP access stuff handled out. She helps get all the alcohol set up and feeding all these crazy folks and stuff. So she's a beast. So we always appreciate her. But we love you. And any parting words?
Maybe I can help Johnny Mac with his phone tomorrow because we're going to beat Tennessee's ass.
You got it.
You got it.
All right. We'll talk to you then.
Have a good night.
Bye. Good night.
Yeah, that was a wonderful experience at that tailgate, man. It was nice meeting everyone.
Yeah, that's where I got to meet Deshawn for the first time. He rolled with us. We had a good time at that tailgate. Went and watched the game at the Champions Club. I don't know how much we actually watched it. It was more just... It's almost like being a teenager again. when you go to these football games, it's like, you know, when you used to go to a concert, but you had your back to the stage the whole time because you're just talking to your friends and
Yeah.
BSing and stuff like that. It was kind of that same energy at the spring game,
Yeah.
especially the way kind of Mike Norvell does it. It's not that riveting if we're being honest. So
Yeah.
when
A
you
lot of
look over
movement.
there and there's
There's a
Matt
lot of movement.
Pryor, let's go say hey to him.
Exactly.
Is that DeMarcus Walker over
Uh-huh.
there?
Yeah. You see no
So,
legends past, present.
facts.
Yeah.
Again, the guys, the phone number is 850-495-1906. If you have any questions, now is the time to do it. Now, a name came up to me this morning. I actually hit our good friend James Coleman up about it, asked him a few questions. Tramell Jones, that's spelled Tramell. There is no E on the end. So if you're going to talk about him, leave that E off. Tramell Jones Jr., he is committed to us, our quarterback. For this cycle, he has just grown immeasurably in the past year. He has taken just huge jumps and strides out there at Mandarin with Jamie French and them boys. Also SFE, you know, South Florida Express, they killed it. I won the OT7, winning all these 7-on-7 competitions. Just an absolute beast. Elite 11 started today. He's out there competing. I have every belief by the end of this thing, he's going to be one of those top 7 group and then possibly part of that top 3 group to compete for MVP. I have no doubt in that whatsoever. He's one of a long line of quarterbacks. You know, and this is something that I was asking James. I wasn't sure if I was remembering right. But Denny Thompson, James's partner back in the day, that he started his podcast, the Sports Den with. They had a radio show and all those good things. Well, this Mr. Denny Thompson is just an absolute just freak of a quarterbacks coach. He coached AR-15 before he got to Florida and during and after and got him ready for the draft, all that. Luke Cromenhawk was the guy who was underneath him. And Tramell Jones hasn't been spending as much time with him here the past year or so, I believe. But, you know, he has spent a lot of time with him from the very beginning. You know, he knew him before James knew him, actually. I think he told me so. Pretty cool stuff. And it's like if he picks that quarterback, if that's the dude he picks out of the bunch and that's somebody he trains, it's pretty crazy the run he's been on of quarterbacks. I don't want to speak wrong, but there's been like 6 or 7 of them. But yeah, what AR-15 and Luke Cromenhawk and Tramell Jones is 3 of them. That's good enough.
I think he worked with JT. I know Gardner Minshew, Carson Beck also are some names to throw out there for Denny.
Heck yeah, we'll see. Shoot, you know all about him too. Then,
Yeah,
it's one of those things like he popped up on my radar when with AR, and then I believe the Max kid. He got a bad rap at Florida and ended up having to decommit, but he was a beast also. And it just seems like quarterback after quarterback, each one he gets just turns out to being a beast. Like what he did with Luke, from not even playing quarterback and starting until his junior year, and then the growth you saw from the time he started to that second year, and then going to the Elite 11 to being a top 3 guy. You're seeing that same trajectory with Tramell Jones, and you know here he is, you know, out at the Elite 11, just absolutely killing. So yeah, you absolutely love to see it.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of our friends were pretty upset on the timeline. I guess somebody, you know, or just say wrote an article. I forget how they put it, Fantasyland or something like that. It seems like writers, these different recruiting sites, it's a slow time of the year. Recruiting is harder than ever to cover. You don't really know what's going on. These kids can change their mind at any moment. So these guys kind of reach for straws and they'll talk to somebody and ask questions in an interview. You can't call it dishonest, whatever. It's not, but it's kind of fantastical the way it comes out, and it isn't how it was meant when it was initially said. Yeah, those things all happen, but the picture you're painting is not the picture. And you can see how if you're for a recruit and it keeps happening, hey, maybe you do see, maybe they will flip, maybe they will do this. I'm going to say right here and right now, Tramell Jones is a Nole. He is Florida State's quarterback to lose. They're in an amazing position. All the different things we just talked about, James Coleman, you know, but we just got Luke, Denny's guy from the year before. There's so many connections and great things there. If they lose them, it's a loss and it sucks and it's a failure. But It doesn't substantiate any of the BS rumors or the this or the that. It doesn't substantiate any of that. And that's what they're doing because they know they have a whatever percent chance. Like if he doesn't ever leave, great. It's great for Florida State. And if he does, they can say, I told you so. And you hate to see it. And, you know, James has had to like go off on different shows to like set the record straight. We've had him on here to set the record straight on these different things in the past. It gets to a certain point, like y'all could just get up with him. Like James will answer your DM. He'll give you his phone number. You can talk to him on the phone. You can show up at Mandarin High School, whatever the case may be, and you can get the actual story. So there's no really need to stretch that. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I've got to say on it as far as on my end.
Yeah, with this recruiting, man, it's always fluid. That's the one word you can use with recruiting. I'm one of those as a fan or a follower when I follow recruiting is, you know, let the kids take their visits, you know, let them all experience what they experience. If they stick, they stick. If they don't, they don't. We're gonna be all right. I mean, I'm not saying anything about Tramel. I have nothing negative to say, anything about that. It's just an experience. He took his visit and it was an unofficial visit. I get it. But a lot of us shouldn't get so emotionally attached to recruiting the way we do, that we find ourselves doing so much. It shouldn't be to the point where we find ourselves in a place of being frustrated and on timelines and whatnot, you know, questioning different aspects of the program or aspects of the kid's parents or anything like that. I just look at it as, you know, let the kids experience the experience because it's going to be the only time they get to experience, you know, it's a first time thing for them. These are 16, 15, 17-year-old, you know, boys. They may be built like grown men in certain ways, but they're still children. So, you know, we put it in perspective here.
Fact. It's like in Tramel's case, I mean, like, yeah, he looks grown. Like compared from a year ago, yeah, he looks like a grown man. He looks like he could be 21 or 22 now, but that's neither here nor there. The dude has just worked and he's grown and he's able to put it all together from all the hard work he's put in, all the training he's done there at Mandarin with Denny, whatever the case may be. And you love to see it. I'm a pull for him wherever he ends up. But let's just hope it's at Florida State and leave it at that. And we'll see what happens. But holy moly. It's a different game in recruiting. Like I was just saying a minute ago, like we could tell you exactly what's going on or report all the tea leaves, who does an official visit, who's committed, all those things. But at the end of the day, you could have all these things. It's a silent, they're committed here until that national letter of intent is sent in. And even after that, these days with the transfers the way it is, you just don't know. And everything could be true. Like, and then 1 second it's over. Let me put it this way. How many of you, or if you have kids that are that age, when you were a teenager, or how many of your kids that are teenagers were in love? And they were in love, it was going to be for the rest of their life, and it lasted 6 months or a year. And then all of a sudden one day they hated their guts. Couldn't imagine ever being intimate or be even near this person again. They're like the plague. Would never, like, how many times has that happened to you, your kid? Like, that's just a part of life. So you better believe that can happen, you know, with a football relationship too. Like you could think you want to go to Florida State and all of a sudden you could see one interview or hear your name said by a different coach or not get texted back on something that you thought was important. And that's it. It doesn't necessarily, people always, they go straight to, it's the money. It's the money. It's the money. That's just like the only thing people go to. So it's really tiring. But it's like Florida State wouldn't even be after him. They wouldn't even be pursuing him if that's the kind of person he was or they were or any of the people. It's just like that isn't their MMO. It's a criticism they get. People want them to go after every top 100 guy, offer whatever money it takes, spend whatever research. But that's just, they get guys that are built for the climb. They get guys that are going to last, the people that fit. So whoever those guys are, I'm for it. They've kept climbing and climbing and climbing despite what other people say. And I just can't wait. Again, guys, if you have any questions, we're coming up on 50 minutes here. We got another 10, 15 minutes. We'll probably go. And I think I just cut you off there. Go ahead, brother.
What I was going ready to say was one more thing with the subscription publications. It's their job to generate interest. You know, they're in the business of making money. It isn't just free reporting and free information. You have to subscribe. So to keep their subscribers engaged, they're going to embellish some of the writing to have our minds wondering here and there. I mean, I read the article, and I know one thing that was said in a question and interview is, you know, Trammell specifically said that he was promised to be the guy in the quarterback room, the best arm in the room. When we know that's, come on, anyone knows that they've already recruited a kid this past cycle. They're going to tell the kid after him the same story. Everybody does it. It's just part of the game. You know, just don't get so lost on it, and look take it with a grain of salt with what these publications do, and remember that they are always just trying to generate interest because they're in the business of making money, getting subscriptions. That's how they get paid.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. They got to do it. They got to do it. I saw somebody in the comments talking about AG Moody and her suit being back in the news. And actually the judge brought it up. Trying to remember exactly. Something along the lines of saying that the state has a legal interest in having the details of the ACC contract with ESPN. Said he knows it's a separate case, but expect it will have a role in this case. So just the fact that he acknowledged it, that is very, very interesting. And even Rush, the Florida State lawyer, had mentioned, you know, that maybe they can work something out. But when you talk about the mediation and, you know, the reason like we haven't got that mediation started, it's like we can't even think about it till we've seen the ESPN agreement. They can't mediate to agree on something when you like you can't you don't when you don't know what's on it.
Yeah,
You could
all the
lie
information.
to them. Like all the things you give to FSU, well, that could already be something in the contract that they had.
Yeah.
Like, so you definitely got to see that sucker. I don't know if that means we'll get to see it, but I think it's pretty much, and I'll get your opinion. I think it's pretty much sealed and dealed now that regardless that ESPN contract is not going to stay private. It's going to get to be seen by the three parties, I think.
Yeah. I don't think, like you said, I agree. It will not become public. But I think it's one of the things that we have to get to this point to get it. It pushes the settlement. You know, you don't want anything revealed. You know, in the state of Florida, even if they agree, it becomes public record, from my understanding. I don't live in the state of Florida, but understanding what has been said and to my knowledge, that those things will have to come to light if it's exposed that way. If they keep it in the courtroom, eventually it will become public record because of the laws in the state. So that's why I believe that I don't think ESPN will allow it to get to that point, because as long as their deal and their part of the contract is protected, I really just, in my opinion, think they'll be to be damned with the ACC, especially when you're talking about the programs that are already looking to leave. You got two of the breadwinners, and the third one is trying to figure out its ball and chain in North Carolina, their situation.
Facts on top of facts. Now, I guess we can close the show with this. We got some official visitors on campus that we can talk about. It's not a Friday, but it is a Tuesday, and it is like the biggest week of recruiting in the entire year for FSU. That's going to be followed up with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 21st through the 23rd, where we're going to have 45, 50 blue chip recruits on campus and probably 1,000 total. There's no telling. It's going to be literally the biggest weekend of recruiting that Norvell's had, in my opinion. But the first guy we can talk about, a guy that was here for an official a couple of days, kind of shocked everybody. He played on the OTE basketball team there. He played with Bronny James in the beginning of his career. A guy that is 6'10", some say 6'11", Jazair Jackson. He is back for an official visit with FSU. I just think the ceiling there is so high. We already told you how we thought he did better than like some of the like blue chip tackle prospects that were out there. Like he really looks like he has everything you need to do it. I want your opinion on this, because when you look at offensive line, we always talk about it's like the hardest position to project. It's just one of the hardest positions to protect. Hands down, it's just what it is. I don't know what the reason for it is, but when they project it, they focused heavily on traits. How tall are you? How long are your arms? You know, what do your ankles look like? What's your 40 time look like? Like you got to be able to have a decent shuttle. All these different things that you normally like when you think Mauler offensive line, it's just different at left tackle. You have to be able to get, drop step, do all these things. And I'm not going to get into, like too deep of the stuff because I'm not a coach or anything like that. But if you know anything about how they block, they have to block like the inside shoulder with the opposite hand. It was like this, just so they can also reach and help their guard and guys coming in the middle. And to be able to do that, it's just like, it's not just that a left tackle has to block that D end. He has to do it in such a crazy, unnatural way, like you wouldn't imagine is even possible. He has to dominate them on a level that's like such a freak thing. It's just hard to come by. And for some reason, tight ends and basketball players have that set of athleticism and the prerequisite height and length that it works out. So it seems like you have a lot of success there with guys switching. I forget what the guy's name is, Lane Johnson, maybe, Pro Bowl guy in the NFL that came from playing basketball, and now he's a left tackle. But looking at Jazair Jackson and his frame and everything, it seems to me like, sure, I'm guessing the floor somewhere low, but his ceiling could be like top 10 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah. Well, him being his basketball background, where to help is his foot movement. I mean, playing tackle, the first thing you're going to look for is their feet, other than just, the size, like you said, their arm length, things like that. It's their foot movement and their punch power, ability to move, kick step, all of those things. Like you said, I'm not getting in depth with it, but it's just feet movement, hip movement, bend, all of those things play a part in it. And in basketball, those are also things to when you're on the defensive side of the ball, playing defense in basketball, those are key things too. So footwork is one of the biggest things for him.
Yeah. It's like you see it on TV and it really just looks like another guy grabbing a guy. But I'll never forget, I was maybe 10th or 11th grade, and there was the left tackle for the football team was warming up or something underneath the football stadium. And I was going to walk by and he was just messing with me. Like, I'm not going to let you by, doing a mirror drill with me. I'm just here to tell you, and this wasn't like an NFL left tackle. He had a big old gut hanging over and this and that, but he was still tough and a senior, had been, was starting on this Milton High School football team. So, like, I mean, I thought I was going to be able to get wide and run around him with my speed or whatever, but like, no, he would just stick out one hand and be able to control me in a way that made me feel this small. I got into jujitsu after that, but no, that's a big one. But besides that, in the philosophical, what do you think? You think they can talk this Jazair Jackson guy into getting on camp or
the interesting part to that? Yeah, well, the interesting part to that, I would say, is as soon as his visit to the camp ended, his offers picked up. He started getting a lot more offers. So I wasn't surprised to see a return visit for an official, but I can see now, it's like, okay, we better get on him because a lot of the other programs in the country, and it's some prominent names that are starting to turn their head and like, okay, this may be a raw piece of clay here, but it's something there. And if other names are looking, it's obviously something there that can be molded into a good, serviceable player for us, if not a great player.
Facts on top of facts. Moving on to another player, defensive end is a position that this coaching staff is just absolutely knocked out of the park after having a little shit talk about John Papuchis in the first 2 or 3 years. Oh, he's doing it with transfers, but eventually he's gonna have to do that and do that, and you're not gonna get lucky every year. Well, yeah, he keeps getting lucky every year. He got Jermaine Johnson, then he got Jared Verse, and he got and it keeps going. And now we bring back Patrick Payton, and we got Marvin Jones, and we got Sione Luluhea and Tomiwa Durajaye for part of the year. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing what he's done, and he's recruiting this year at an elite level. We've already got Javian Hilson, the #1 weak side defensive end. I believe the #3 weak side defensive end, at least in one of those different recruiting sites, is Zion Grady. And this is a guy that they are working in on, fast and hard. Like, it's getting better and better. I'm getting more and more likely that thinking they have a chance to sign him. Well, you don't have to look very far down that list, or maybe he's at strong side for Jared Smith. Another name that seemed like, he's been coming to Florida State for years off and on, but it's never been like a guy who I've felt as a lean to Florida State the whole time, but they're really putting in work. And here he is on a Tuesday. I believe, is it an official or is it an unofficial?
That I'm not sure.
Official visit.
I think it's an official visit. Yeah, it is. There we go. I got it.
Yes, sir. What do you think about him, man?
I haven't seen any film or watched on him yet, so I have to check it out. But once again, I put it this way though: big game hunting. That's what they're doing, and they're putting their resources towards the trenches. This is something that needed to be addressed. This is what they're trying to do, and they're not just trying to put it. They're not just looking for fit; they're looking for elite level fit. So I'm not angry with the big game hunting mindset.
Facts. I mean, if you could somehow land Jared Smith, Zion Grady, and Javian Hilson in one defensive end class, that would be absolutely sick. But yeah, you see Jared Smith standing like past Surtain and standing next to his mom and stuff. He's a big old boy, 6'6.5", 235 pounds. He's from Alabaster, Alabama. So that makes it tough, as there's only 8 top 100 players in the state of Alabama, and he's one of them at number 57 overall in the nation. He's the number 4 edge in the nation, so number 4, so that'd be number 1, number 3, and number 4. Florida State could get all 3, and he's the number 4 player overall in Alabama. When you look at his offers on 247, they've got Florida State at the top, then they've got Georgia, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. I don't know if that means they lead in their mind or not. They don't have any crystal ball for predictions for him or anything. I've always got the idea that he's going to be one of these guys who probably waited out until signing day or closer till after the season. But maybe I could be wrong. Again, these things change so fast. You never know.
Yeah, they do.
We'll see. He could have a date already scheduled, and I'm forgetting it. If there's anything that we haven't talked about, that we haven't got to, now is the time. If there's anything I haven't given you an intro for.
Oh no. Just make sure y'all to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Always keep the algorithm going and continue to support and watch us grow. That's all. Facts
on top of facts. I'll give y'all a couple more names of guys that are here on campus. 4-star safety prospect Jaden Blair. Let's see here. Ben Hanks, the DB, Ben Hanks Jr., who was here for the 7-on-7 camp last week. He's back on campus for his official visit today. 3-star defensive end Nicholas Clayton is on campus. And these guys, they get the same greeting as everybody else. So it's like, this coaching staff is nothing like the one we had previously, or even the one at Jimbo Fisher had at the end of the year. They really cover their bases. They've got a first, a second, a third choice. They're looking at the future. They're having 26, 27. They handed out a couple offers to some 28 quarterbacks the other day. Now I remember what I wanted to talk about. Dia Bell goes ahead and commits to Texas. And all of a sudden, Brady Smeagol, I don't know if he was retweeting FSU stuff or somehow his stuff got brought up, but all of a sudden leaning a little bit towards Florida State. Maybe it was a recruiting thing they made for him and he retweeted that or something. But how are you feeling on the number 1 quarterback in the 2026 class, trending towards the NOLES?
Oh, I'm excited about it. I know he's a California quarterback. I haven't seen much on him just yet because it's 26.
Right.
But they're doing exactly what you need to do. You got to bring in a quarterback every class, and you got to bring in at least an elite 11, fit, that kind of caliber quarterback. And it's big game hunting. You got to get your quarterback. And you got to know what you want. So you got Luke last year, you got Tramel now, and then you go after Brady next year. It just continues to line up, and not to mention Jackson that you got in that was a bonus from this past class, of elite 11 talent, So I'm excited. It's part of the recruiting. Keep recruiting. You recruit quarterbacks every year, at least one.
Facts on top of facts, man. I think we have just about hit everything. I don't think there's much left. Kirk Herbstreit's getting his ass tore up on Twitter because he keeps. The other day he posted something yesterday that was eerily like talking about an underdog doing good, we all roasted him,
Mhm.
you know, of course. And then now today he has the nerve to congratulate FSU. So yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But yeah, I think that about does it. I think we've covered everything. Sorry if we forgot something. We love you guys. Thank you everybody for joining the show. Please hit that like and share or like and subscribe button, if you will. It's 100% free on your way out, and it just would mean the world. 40% of you guys every time are kind of unsubscribed or is unsubscribed people. That's what the analytics say. So become subscribed, and we really appreciate it. We love you guys, and we will leave y'all with a little bit of Trub Life. Hell, I'll play the whole song for you this time, or a minute of it. Trub Life, guys, if you haven't, you know, go subscribe to his YouTube. It's the real Trub Life. FSU versus everybody. I just absolutely love this song. We'll play it and advertise for the roast show. If you haven't seen yesterday's roast, they had on the Utah Ute, Tiny Hat, and Jen Santee, and they talked about the ACC pretty much the whole time. They took down the ACC as a whole and talked about, you know, everything that's involved in that, and really shit all over the ACC, and talked about Florida State getting out there into the Big Ten and how that's possible. But again, check that out. Oh yeah, before we leave, go check out Double D's Let's Talk About It right here on YouTube. And if there's anything I missed, you want to plug what you got going on over there for sure.
Also check out D's Corner. That's DSCORNER. That's my partner. He does if you want your NFL information, Double D's Let's Talk Ball podcast or D's Corner. We thank y'all and appreciate it.
Boom. You heard it here first, baby. We love y'all. Go Noles.
Go Noles.
Hey man, FSU works for everybody. Let go. First off, fuck Bama in the road tide. Fuck Tuscaloosa in every city that's close by. Bitch ass hillbilly redneck fans. Auburn almost caught y'all slacking like dress pants. Michigan trash, they ain't got a damn chance. Only Wolverine I respect is X-Man. Keen ass coach got exposed, still in plays. Damn right I'm bitter, y'all sweeter than lemonade. Texas ain't shit to rave about. The Longhorns only good at a steakhouse. Had y'all like number 3, I was like, no way. Y'all lost to Oklahoma, which means y'all just okay. And Washington not important. Y'all be some ducks acting like that's vital as an organ. If we played y'all, we kick that ass Chuck Norris. Y'all stay boring. Only thing in that bitch is a forest. Let's set the record straight. Fuck your team if it ain't Florida State. 13-0, undefeated. Damn, what more it take? Denied our presence. That should be a crime. They jealous. Probably get in if the Gators wasn't 5. Miami better not say nada. Last time they won a championship.